Introducing Easy Pond construction methods from Pond Supplies of America. Innovators in waterscape design, equipment, and supplies. This video will help you with everything you need to know to build beautiful, lasting water features for every climate. Hi, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our latest pond construction training video. I'm Gary Wittstock, President of Pond Supplies of America. This video should answer many questions you may have about designing, planning, and building reliable water features for your clients. Water gardening is a hot topic on television today, from local cable shows to Good Morning America. We're proud to say Gary Wittstock's patented filter system was recently featured on Good Morning America. Waterscapes are wonderful additions to any landscape, but the right equipment and techniques are essential for success. Perhaps this is more so with water features than most other landscape additions. Water leaks quickly destroyed this pond. The pond liner was not brought up behind the retaining wall. Water leaks emptied the pond and led to a cracked retaining wall. Algae-choked ponds are a common problem when the right filters aren't used. Inadequate filtration leads to an unattractive and unhealthy green water pond. Pond Supplies of America teaches how to create a natural ecosystem that turns ponds from pea soup to perfectly clear without any chemicals. At night, fish sparkle like splashing jewels in a Pond Supplies of America Clearwater pond. Fish and aquatic plants are welcome additions and important to a pond's ecosystem. Playful birds quickly dash over to splash in a waterfall. Amazingly, there is a highly efficient biological filter beneath that beautiful waterfalls, and this video shows you how to install it. We manufacture patented high-performance pond filtration products and distribute high-quality pond construction supplies. These products are assembled into professional pond kits containing everything you need to build a pond. All the components are sized to match your job, so you won't have to worry about matching pump outlets to pipe sizes and filter connections. Our catalog describes pond kits from 24 square feet to 1,200 square feet. We have basic kits, complete kits with additional parts, and ultimate pond kits. We can deliver these products to your business or directly to your job site. So relax, take out some paper and pencil if you'd like to take notes, and join us as we share our recommendations for good pond construction techniques. The pond construction techniques you'll learn in this video are time-tested by Pond Supplies of America. These practices are used daily by hundreds of landscape crews across the country. We'll show you some very innovative filter designs that become part of the pond, and share tips on introducing fish and plants to your new ecosystem. You won't believe how some new filter designs really simplify maintenance. Finally, we'll talk about a formula for success, your success. Building beautiful waterscapes and natural ecosystems are fun. Your clients will be rewarded, your business will grow, and a little bit of nature preserved in the end.
Leaping lizards! Bet I can get a better look at this PSA water garden from the top of Mount Froggy. Wow, nice garden, and he doesn't even know I'm here!
Here's a view of our pond construction site before excavation. The retaining wall was built to create a new slope for the waterfalls that will face toward the house. This is the ultimate super pond kit supplied by PSA that will be used to create our pond. When positioning a pond for your clients, be sure to check the views from inside the home. In general, ponds should be positioned close to the home for maximum viewing pleasure. Once the pond location and size are determined, we paint the outline on the ground. But don't start to dig yet. Your local yellow pages will usually give a phone number to call to notify all the utility companies. Their flags should be checked so pond excavation doesn't risk buried cable damage or personal injury.
Now that we've painted the outline of the pond, it's got very nice gentle curved lines. But when we go to put our stone in the pond, our stone is going to vary from 8 inches in diameter all the way up to 36 inches in diameter. And that'll give us the irregularity and sort of break up this real gentle curves of this pond.
We also lay out our planned stream dimensions so we'll know where to position our dirt. Typically where your site is flat, extra dirt will be required to create a larger berm. We used about 14 yards on this job because the stream was about 15 feet long. We lay out our piping now so it can be buried in the berm. This excavation drawing illustrates our goal of creating a series of plant shelves and vertical drops.
What we're going to do first is we're going to begin to dig this pond down approximately 12 inches down over the entire surface area, and at that point then we'll come in and we'll paint our area that we're next going to dig, which would be more the center of the pond. But what I always try to do here is I try to keep an area in front of the falls, which is this is the falls area. I try to keep an area that's about 8 inches deep. So we might dig this part last. Might just leave that alone for now. We might dig everything else down 12 inches. I'm going to set my laser level for 12 inches, so once we start digging over here, we can just carry that grade all the way across. And since that side of the pond is higher, at least the elevation of the ground right now, we're going to end up terracing that part and creating an interesting area in a garden or a pathway. So we're going to leave this part here undug until we get everything down to the 12 inches. Then we'll take this down 8 inches. And this is so that we don't have to build a big tall wall of rock. Because you're not going to see the bottom of the rock anyway. And we're going to have a waterfall here that's approximately 12 inches high. And we'll go through on how we're going to construct that with using some of this concrete retaining wall block. When we measure this pond now, we want to make sure that we're kind of perpendicular to the wide part of this pond. So that looks about right. So what do we have there? 14.5 feet. Should be about 9 feet here. A little over 9 feet, which is fine. We're well within our range. So now what we got to do is we have to make sure that there aren't any, in this job we have burnt coal, clinkers, and broken glass. So we just been through here with a rake. We're pulling all the sharp material out. And then we're going to lay the underlayment, which will be some additional protection in here. We've got all the roots chopped off. Anything that might protrude or press against the liner that might be of a puncture problem is gone. And we're ready to pull the underlayment into place. Okay, the bottom of the pond is about 30 inches below the water level. The reason why we went 30 inches is because we want to end up with 24 inches. And we're going to put cobblestone on the bottom, which is going to be anywhere from 4 to 7 inches thick. So ultimately, our finished depth is going to be 24 inches. Now, what we did here was we came down about 12 inches and we built a shelf that is about 1 foot to 1.5 feet wide all the way around the pond. That's what these rocks are going to sit on, so that we have, so we aren't having to build a large rock wall 24 inches down all the way out of the water. Now we only have to come from 12 inches down all the way out of the water. And here what we have is an 8-inch shelf. And this 8-inch shelf is right in front of the waterfall. Again, it's so we don't have to build this really tall wall. When you have the water coming over the waterfall, you're not going to see how deep the pond is in this area anyway. And by having this shelf wider, what you can do is you can make more of a cascading waterfall as opposed to a waterfall that just drops into the pool. When you make a cascading one which has multi-levels, you get a lot of horizontal movement of the water, And so when the water comes down, it's going to project across the pond and then get sucked into the skimmer, so you'll have better circulation in the pond. Now this area behind me is going to be probably the calmest area of the whole pond. And this is where plants like lilies would go, plants that prefer to have calm water. You wouldn't want to, a lily would not grow right here in front of the waterfall.
Installing a pond without rock shelves would leave the top edge of the liner exposed like this. As water evaporates, not only is the liner more visible, but it is exposed to degrading ultraviolet rays. When moving the liner into place, it helps to have some extra hands.
Okay, we got plenty over here. See, we have almost an extra foot here, which is what I would prefer to have going into this job. What I'm going to do, so we put an underlayment here to protect the rubber from any abrasion. But if, just to give you an example of its strength or tear resistance, this rock is pretty hard, it's pretty sharp, but you can take this rubber liner and you can put a lot of weight on it. And it doesn't tear. You can buy EPDM rubber from a roofing company, but it has a curing agent in it that can be toxic to fish. So what Firestone has done is that they have stamped this one to be fish safe.
EPDM liner is easily seamed using special adhesive tapes. Look how brittle this plastic liner became after only 3 years in the ground. Contrast that to this EPDM liner, which remains flexible even at freezing temperatures. We recommend installing both mechanical and biological filters on ponds. A mechanical skimmer filter keeps the pond free of debris, while biological filters control pond nutrient levels.
The pond sweeps are the heart of any pond system that we build today. The four main functions of a pond sweep is that they remove debris from the pond through the skimming action. They provide biological filtration through multiple mats. It allows for the installation of a pump inside of the filter in the back chamber, and it also acts as a pre-filter for the Pure Falls 5000, which is what we use to build this waterfall. The Pure Falls 5000 has a wonderful ledge to be able to build a waterfall off of. It has a large biological filtering area inside of it. This area also acts as a basin in which you can put a variety of aquatic plants, and the unit also hides all the plumbing associated with the Pure Falls 5000.
Installation and maintenance instructions are included with every filter unit. We'll demonstrate these instructions and show you our different filter models in this video. This pond features both the pond sweep skimmer at the end of the pond on the lower right and the Pure Falls in the upper left. The skimmer houses the pump which recirculates the pond water up to the Pure Falls filter waterfall combination. You can see how well these filters are hidden. This animated overview of our pond plumbing demonstrates some of the key components of our pond ecosystem. The cross-flow design of the pond sweep skimmer creates a large front filtration chamber, leaving lots of room in the back of the filter for almost any size submersible pump. We add seed bacteria to populate both the filters and the in-pond gravel beds. Underground piping carries the pre-cleaned water to the Pure Falls. As the water cascades over the waterfall, it adds dissolved oxygen to the pond ecosystem. Here's a great action shot of oxygen stirring and transfer into the pond water from the Pure Falls. The excavation is now complete and the concrete block waterfalls structure for the stream is built and the filters are in place. The pond sweep skimmer was installed in a hole beside the pond excavated to a depth of 18 1/2 inches below the planned water level. We install 1.5 inch wide double stick tape to the two front corners of the skimmer box. These serve as an installation aid by holding the liner in position to allow easy and accurate cutting of the skimmer opening.
Okay, tape is all.
Prior to attaching the rubber liner to the face of the skimmer, it is important to leave some excess liner folded over below the skimmer opening. Then take care to minimize any liner wrinkles when the liner is attached to the double stick tape. This helps to ensure a good watertight seal at the skimmer opening.
I just press it against the tape.
We're now ready to cut the opening in the liner to match the large 8-inch wide skimmer inlet. It is very important to use a sharp razor knife to ensure clean, easy cutting. This will also prevent any liner stretching, which could cause a distorted cut.
I got my silicone in there. The silicone not only seals the rubber so water can't go through between the rubber and the skimmer, but it also begins to hold the rubber in place for the next step.
The front flange on the bellows can now be slipped through the skimmer opening. There is no need to seal this flange to the skimmer. We punch a liner hole in the top middle of the skimmer opening, and then use that hole to attach the bellows latch assembly. This latch helps during bellows assembly to hold the bellows in place and align the outer frame. During normal skimmer operation, the bellows latch is held horizontal to allow the bellows to move freely. During maintenance, this latch is lowered to hold the bellows closed to allow the pump to drain the skimmer box. Our skimmers come with discharge ports on both sides to simplify plumbing. The unused port is sealed with tape supplied with each skimmer. If an overflow drain is desired, the second port can be used with only slight modifications. Automatic water fill valves help to minimize maintenance and are easy to install and adjust. The whole process of installing a skimmer and the high-efficiency bellows usually takes about 30 minutes. You can see from this video how easy it is to disguise this part of your pond plumbing. Your filter bag, mats, pump, and discharge plumbing all disappear into the landscape. This skimmer device is now ready for many years of dependable service. Let's look at one more high-performance option for the pond sweep skimmer. Because the bellows skims water so efficiently, we can use the pump to create a dual flow filter for both skimming and a bottom drain. Bottom drains are recommended for heavy fish loads or wherever the ultimate in pond cleaning is desired. This shot shows the bottom drain flushing itself clean when the skimmer bellows is closed. Debris entering the bottom drain is quickly swept into the filtration chamber, where it is caught in the filter mats. We stock various types of bottom drains. Some are designed for new installations, while others are designed to retrofit a bottom drain into an existing pond. We use a gate valve installed at the skimmer to regulate the flow of the bottom drain water.
Make sure the liner is loose, a little bit of slack in the liner, plenty of room for the bottom drain. Locate the end of the pipe, and then punch a hole. That's the hole you use for cutting the circle that'll fit the bulkhead fitting.
The bottom drain is glued into the bulkhead fitting about 1 foot below the waterline. Bottom drains can even be fitted to rocked-in ponds using one of our drain kits. And these bottom drains are not very prone to clog because the dual flow skimmer is constantly pulling leaves into the catch basin. The gate valve can be installed on either side of the skimmer and hidden in a small irrigation valve box. The rocks do a good job of hiding this in the pond plumbing line for the bottom drain. Sometimes more than one skimmer is desired to hide multiple pumps. In this application, a standard PS700 in the foreground was teamed with a PS1500 about 20 feet away. The large 6-inch pipe discharge in this skimmer is a sign that the artistic pavers, the landscaper for this job, used a 10,000 gallon per hour submersible pump. On larger ponds where more powerful pumps are desired for wider waterfalls and for more powerful skimming, the PS1500 skimmer model features a 16-inch opening. This model is large enough to even make a nice fort for our little friend. A double latch holds the bellows in place when you're ready for cleaning. There's lots of room for large pumps on these skimmers, and just like our smaller pond sweeps, every pump is protected from debris clogging by vertical filter mats. The pumps are easy to service as they sit outside the pond, and almost all the pond surface debris will be swept into these skimmer boxes as soon as the pump or pumps are turned on. We installed this Pure Falls on a concrete block base to compensate for the drop in elevation at our site. The water from the pond enters this upflow biological filter at the bottom. It only takes a few seconds to tighten the bulkhead fitting. Install the male pipe adapter using Teflon tape on the threads. We use special, flexible PVC glue. If you're in warmer climates, you might consider using hard PVC, since freeze damage is not likely. The bottom of our Pure Falls looks like it's completely above the level of the pond. So when we pull our pump out in the wintertime, the pump discharge assembly has a check valve in it. When you pull the pump and discharge assembly out, the Pure Falls will completely drain away from the fittings, and drain into the pond. So then you've winterized your system. The first step to attach the liner to the face of the Pure Falls is to install the double stick tape supplied with each unit to the front vertical surface of the Pure Falls. Next, a 2-inch width of liner is folded away from you and pressed into the lower half of the double stick tape, leaving the top half of the double stick tape still exposed. We now take the 36-inch piece of cover tape and attach it to both the liner and the exposed surface of the double stick tape attached earlier. The rubber now can be unfolded and wrapped up the sides of the Pure Falls. We then attach the side tape to secure the liner to the sides of the Pure Falls. See our detailed instruction sheets for full descriptions of this process.
See, so now what's going to happen is we're going to start to backfill this with soil and rock. Okay, but our water level is still way down here. This is here to protect it from any splash. It doesn't matter really how wrinkled it is in here.
We recommend rinsing the biological filter media even when new to minimize dust and dirt.
They fit in snug, and you want to make sure that you have them flat and laid against the side. There's going to be 3 mats total that fit in here. Then on top of this mat, we're going to take the 2 bags of media, whether it be balanced media or volcanic rock, lay it right on the mats. The mats, the nets are designed to fit in here also snug. And they should also fill up all the gaps between the bags and between the walls. So all the water will have to pass through them to get back into the pond. Make sure that all the corners are filled.
Fitting a waterfall stone to cover the weir of the Pure Falls will typically require marking and then cutting that stone. We recommend stones less than about 1 1/4 inches thick to keep the water level lower in the Pure Falls. We use polyurethane foam to seal the waterfall stone to the Pure Falls weir or top lip. Our precast waterfall stone exactly fits the opening of the Pure Falls, with room to place stones to hide the outer edges of the filter. One easy way to hide the Pure Falls edges is to notch stones using a diamond-bladed high RPM grinder. We encourage you to use your creativity like this and other ways to make the plastic from our filters and plumbing disappear from view. Bob Stell at Evergreen Landscape likes the small size of our Pure Falls, which allows him to simply cover the Pure Falls in stone. A combination of beautiful aquatics and perimeter landscaping covers this Pure Falls in complete beauty. Mesh baskets are available from PSA or other waterscape supply dealers. These make terrific filter baskets for the Pure Falls, since the water can pass through the mesh and the plant roots can consume pond nutrients. We're now going to show you a Pure Falls 5000G model, which is a gravity feed model
the same unit as a Pure Falls 5000 waterfall unit. This one is installed completely in the ground with a cover just to protect it so no one inadvertently steps in it. We have is a gravity feed drain pipe. It's that pipe that runs all the way to the pond and feeds directly into the top of the stream or back into the pond itself. This is the outlet area for the Pure Falls 5000G model. We have the discharge pipe from the biological filter emptying into this stream and diverting both directions. We've hidden the pipe by the use of the landscape rocks and also the grasses that are in the stream.
On large ponds, we recommend building a custom biological filter. This gravel basin filter is 12 foot by 16 foot. It was built using inexpensive liner, gravel, and perforated tubing. A filter basin like this can easily be sized to meet the biological requirements of any size pond.
What we have here is the discharge pipe from the pump that's down in the main pond. This pipe is coming out of the skimmer. I have a rubber coupling on this just in case we had to do some kind of service work. We have some way to disconnect the system. This pipe goes down into the upper basin. This upper basin is approximately 2.5 feet deep. What I have made is a rectangular, I call it a manifold, that sits on the bottom of this basin, and I have about 1,000 holes drilled in it. Instead of a check valve, I've drilled a hole in the pipe just above the water line. What happens here is when I turn the pump off, all the water in the pipe tries to drain back down to the pump, but then it begins to suck the air and breaks the siphon in the system.
The waterfall discharge from this biological filter basin can be varied up to any size to simply match the pump flows used for your job. Now that the liner is in place, we're ready for the rocks, lights, and stream installation. We used about 10 tons of stone for this job. We use stone for many purposes, including beauty, liner protection, and safety, so it's easier to get in and out of the pond. When bidding jobs, don't forget to allow for long distances or unique stone hauling challenges. Stones laid on top of the liners can also help prevent liner bubbles that occasionally form from gases under the liner. This view of the upper rock ledge in our pond will give you an idea of how the pond will look once filled with water. Sometimes larger stones can be safely handled using a sling so many hands can lift the weight. After the large rocks are in place, and before the gravel is installed, we recommend adding underwater lights. Be sure to leave an extra coil of light cord, so when the light bulbs need changing, you won't need to hire a scuba diver. Your clients will truly appreciate the night views of their pond, which add immensely to the enjoyment of their new landscape, while extending the hours their pond can be appreciated. When hooking up the electricity for pumps and pond lights, use a professional electrician. Piles of cords outdoors are unsafe. Ground fault circuits are an absolute must around any water feature. We like the boxes that have a snap-shut, waterproof cover. This is a typical stream cross-section which allows various sized stones and shelves for plants. Underlayment is used in streams to protect the rubber liner from abrasive items like the waterfall structure.
The stream liner needs to go over the pond liner. When the elevation of the pond is too close to the elevation of the stream, like within a few inches, you need to tape this joint here so that no water wicks up the rubber and gets out of the system. In this case, we're going to have we have at least 8 inches, if not about 10 inches of difference between the two. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the pond liner into place, try to make it as reasonably flat as possible with having it tighten the corners. Then we're going to take the stream liner and we're going to overlap it for putting under some of the heavier rocks. So we might use this under some of the rocks that we put in front of the waterfall here. It's just an additional protection for the rubber. Okay, that's pretty good, because what we're going to do is we're going to build a basin here, and we're going to have some stone walls in the face of that waterfall unit that comes up all the way to this top of the sides. So we don't have to have rubber necessarily come up that high, but if we have any splash, we want the splash to stay within the rubber. Because you will have some evaporation, we just want to minimize the evaporation.
Since this stream is built on backfilled flat ground with raised sides, I need to mark the locations for the edge stones. Once the stones are set, the edge of the liner can be lifted and backfilled. If your waterfall slope already exists and it faces the house, count your blessings. If the pond side is flat, and many are, just plan on making a slope from the excavated dirt. If the yard slopes steeply, you will want to shape the slopes with retaining walls. Here is an example of a natural slope that faces the house. We love these kinds of work sites where the waterfalls and streams can just be carved into the existing slope. Let's take a minute now while the landscaper for this project explains a little bit of the history behind this water feature and some of his design ideas.
Hi, my name is Bob Stell with Evergreen Landscape, and we're at the Hallenbeck residence in Boulder Ridge in Lake in the Hills, Illinois. And they've been a customer of mine for a number of years, and they have this, they had a nice slope in their yard. About 5 years ago, we built the steps and the boulders, and they wanted to know what to do to continue it, and I had suggested a water feature. And we wanted the water feature to, with the steps, we wanted to have a bridge come over the water. So with the size of the pond and the size of the falls, we have 2 skimmers working here with 2 pumps and 1 Pure Falls. We have 1 main waterfall and a small stream to the left of it. In this corner is we're running a Cymer pump, and so it's the main pump, and I wanted the skimmers in each corner so we wouldn't have any stagnant water in the pond. So it's drawing water right through the pond all the time.
Here's another job site where the backyard sloped very sharply away from the house. In this case, the landscaper simply used retaining walls to terrace the slope. He then positioned the Pure Fall sideways so the waterfalls and stream would be readily visible from the house. This was a repair job on a leaking pond where the original retaining wall had cracked. It is a good idea to visually know where the water level is in the pond to allow more interesting stone placement inside the pond perimeter and at the waterfall. By knowing exactly where the water line is in any basin or stream, you can plan to bring soil and plants right down to the water's edge, thereby creating a more natural look. Halfway through the day, the water feature is about half done. 1 to 2 inches of gravel is installed on the pond bottom and sides to provide not only visual appeal, but substrate for fish-friendly bacterial colonization. After installing the boulders and gravel, we wash down the pond completely and pump out the dirty water. Expanding foam is used to seal the stones at the waterfall weirs. This foam is then hidden from view with smaller stones. Once the foam is dried, it's time to install and activate the pump. This is always a fun time to watch your creation come to life.
Pump selection factors include the need for adequate biological filtration, skimming effectiveness, and waterfall and stream appearance. Small pumps may not provide enough flow for an attractive waterfall, but robust flows may be too dramatic or noisy for some clients unless using wider waterfalls. We carry a variety of submersible and external pumps with a focus on oil-free, high-efficiency models designed for water gardening. We have tested all our pumps under conditions that duplicate field applications, both for pipe length and head height. We measured flow rates under identical conditions for accurate comparisons. Testing includes verification of manufacturer's specifications on amperage draws and wattage, so we can match pumps to your needs and address customer concerns about operating costs. Refer to our pump data charts for guidance or contact us for additional information. Adding fish and plants to your stream is lots of fun and really very easy. Here are just a couple of tips to get you started. Parrot's feather adds nice texture and color to this flowing stream. We like to make plant pockets using larger rocks on the inside of the pond or stream and liner on the outside. After some small gravel is added, the edge planting can be lowered into place. More gravel anchors the edge plant. The mulch can be brushed over the liner to hide the pond edge. Aquatic plants can be purchased locally or from mail order catalogs like these packages. If using plant baskets, add some dirt to cover the plant roots, and then sprinkle some gravel over the top to keep the fish out of the dirt. The plant basket can now be positioned for best viewing and to provide room for growth. Once the pond water has been dechlorinated and the filter system is up and running, it's time to introduce some fish to your ecosystem. Never add large fish like these all at one time. The ecosystem will take a number of weeks to establish itself, so adding a few fish each week is best. Float the fish bags in the pond until the water temperature in the bag matches that in the pond. We also recommend adding some pond water to the fish bag to acclimate the fish to the pH level in the pond in case it differs from the pH level in the bag water. With the ecosystem established and the skimmer and biological filters in place, these fish will live for many years with only minimal care. Furthermore, your pond should stay crystal clear like this with only a few minutes every week or two for cleaning out the skimmer net and mats. Even your baby fish will learn to stay out of the skimmer box, but any debris that falls into the pond will be quickly swept into the net bag for easy removal. Our net is held in place with a rigid wire frame that really simplifies cleaning. Reinserting the clean net takes only a few seconds. A simple glance at the pond sweep skimmer box is all that's necessary to see if the mats need cleaning. When the water level in the pump chamber drops about 1 inch below the pond water level, you'll know it's time to rinse off these mats. Simply lift out the debris tray, and in just a few seconds, your mats will be as good as new.
We've just been doing some in-water planting in this pond, so we're going to use the green super mat. This is one that's been used in the past. We're going to put it in this pond to clear the water out a little bit faster. I'll insert the super mat in front of the regular mats in the skimmer. That's all it takes to insert the super mat for extra clean water.
Remember, with our new patent-pending bellows design, you only have to close the bellows and close the optional bottom drain gate valve to close off the skimmer from the pond so it can be drained by the pond pump. Skimmer maintenance has never been easier or safer. We highly recommend this remote pump shutoff switch, which will turn off the pump automatically whenever the skimmer box is drained by closing the bellows. Once the bellows is reopened after the mats have been cleaned, the pump starts up again automatically. Our pond maintenance bacteria come in many different packages.
Basically, once a week I've been throwing one of these packets in. That's just going to dissolve. The water motion kind of lets it dissipate into the filter and go up to the two waterfalls.
Cleaning the purifalls is only necessary once per year. We remove the plant filter baskets, media bags, and filter mats for cleaning. Keeping up with periodic pond maintenance and annual filter cleaning helps to eliminate excessive algae while still maintaining healthy levels of moss-like pond algae to promote a strong pond ecosystem. Some ponds located under a particularly heavy canopy of trees will benefit by the addition of some pond netting. This fine mesh netting is almost invisible and can be held in place with 1-inch PVC tubing stuck onto metal stakes alongside the pond. Never let your pond fill with leaves like this one and then ice over. The ice will suffocate the fish as the leaves decompose and rob the water of dissolved oxygen. If you live in a freezing climate, it's relatively easy to just catch the fish and then scoop out or rake out the leaves from on top of the gravel base. When you're done with this late fall chore, the pond will look like this just prior to adding water and putting back the fish. In winter, the waterfall's pump can be left on down to about 25 degrees Fahrenheit or so. At lower air temperatures, the pond water temperature is lowered when the pump is left running, which will stress the fish more and could leak if the stream freezes over. Make sure your pond keeps a dissolved oxygen content of at least 4 parts per million. One way to assure this is to keep a hole open in the ice with the bubbler pump discharging just below the pond surface, or use a floating pond heater. The water temperature should stay at 36 degrees Fahrenheit or higher on the bottom of the pond. Almost any existing pond will benefit from a pond sweep and Purifalls retrofit. In-pond pumps are hard to hide, prone to clogging, and awkward to remove for maintenance. They also allow debris to sink to the bottom, resulting in sludge and decaying material that can cause algae and odor problems. Pumps in the pond can also be hazardous to fish and other aquatic life. Simply clean the liner where it attaches to the Purifalls and seal as with a new installation. The PF5000G is ideal for retrofits where existing streams or waterfalls are to be kept intact. Use a similar approach for the skimmer retrofit. Lower the pond level enough to allow for cleaning and attaching the liner. This is an ideal time to fully clean the pond and add rocks or gravel enhance the edge treatment, or add water plants. After the liner is in place and the opening is cut, apply silicone seal. Attach the bellows and liner retention frame, as with a new installation. Because of the efficient filtration of the pond sweep, it will probably be necessary to clean the filter mats more frequently for the first several days. On retrofits, be extra careful to do a superb job, as the local pond residents will watch with great interest and will give your work a very close inspection.
Built the pond 3 years ago, and we've been fighting with algae and cleaning it, actually emptying it and cleaning it for 3 years. I would have to daily clean the scum off the pump, or I could tell by the sound of the waterfall that we were getting restriction and we were not getting a flow that we should have had.
We've been demonstrating a system for building waterscapes to allow even the first-time pond builder to install a successful pond. Many ponds can be built in just one day like this one was. In our Perfect Ponds Made Easy booklet, we include detailed pond estimating worksheets. Once you know your pond size, choose either one of our many pre-assembled Super Pond kits, or let us custom assemble everything you need. If you wish more hands-on training, we offer a variety of classes that will speed up your learning time. You'll be able to get your hands dirty in one of our outdoor pond building sessions, so be sure to wear your work clothes. Attend one of our national winter classroom seminars. Networking with your peers from around the country is both fun and motivational. We even have an indoor pond area set aside in our Illinois warehouse, complete with dirt berms, filters, and running water. Now rain, snow, or freezing weather can no longer put a damper on these hands-on indoor classes. Building ponds creates the need for many other landscaping services, starting with the necessity for landscaping around the pond. Your creativity, design, and selling skills can all be utilized adding hardscapes like decks, outdoor lighting, stone walkways, and of course bridges. Gazebos make wonderful outdoor living spaces with summer screens letting in all the sounds of moving water. We'd love to show you our portable pond demonstration kit that can be put together in an afternoon and then installed at area trade shows. Prospective customers will visit as soon as you turn on your waterfalls. Beautiful waterscapes take time, but just as surely as nature guides this lovely lily to spread its petals, you too can surely inspire your clients with your expanding waterscape skills. Pond Supplies of America hopes to get you on the right track to building successful water features with confidence. With our full array of pond building guidelines, kits, and equipment, you could meet almost any client's request. Hey, Aunt, watch out. That frog's for real.
I'm not worried. We've already met. A water garden promotes harmonious living. That's the big treat behind every water feature.